Hi, everyone. Okay, today's language assignment is going to be about linking verbs, and we are going to take some notes from our journal. Okay, so we're going to go to our table of contents. Indirect objects was the last thing that we did. This is another language topic, so put the L, and this is going to be about linking verbs. And we're going to go to page 66. Okay. All right, and when you get to page 66, this is also going to be our title. Okay, so on page 66, title is linking verbs. And reminder again, video, great thing about that is that you can pause it. All right, so if you need to pause and catch up anytime on notes, you do that. All right, so we have been having, of course, our abbreviations. Our last page, we had direct objects and indirect objects. All right, so direct objects abbreviation is DO, indirect objects is IO. We're not going to be doing anything tricky. What do you think our linking verbs abbreviation is? LV, linking verbs, okay? Now, you guys know that I like to do pictures and things to help us learn things. This is a time I wish we were in class because I got a silly song for this. But anyway, linking verbs. Okay, when you think of things linking together, I think of things connecting together. Okay, so what we're going to do to remind us that linking verbs help connect things is we're going to draw a little picture of a chain. Okay, and we're keeping it super simple. Just draw 3 ovals kind of spaced apart. Okay, and then after you get those 3 ovals made, go between them and make another oval that just kind of overlaps. So it kind of looks like a chain. Not a very pretty chain, that's okay. This is an art class, this is language, but you guys get the idea. Linking verbs have a special job. They are helping us to link or connect things together. Okay, so our list of rules when we're doing linking verbs. Now, I'm going to flip back. You don't have to. But remember this. When we did direct objects always followed action verbs. So this whole page right here, you had to have action verbs in these type of sentences where you have direct objects and indirect objects. Because remember, if there's not a direct object, there's no way to have an indirect object. So all of these hinge on action verbs. Well, we're shifting gears a little bit, boys and girls, when we go to linking verbs, okay? Because when we go to linking verbs, the first characteristic that we're going to put for linking verbs is that there is no action, okay? If you see a verb and it's an action verb, then don't even let your mind consider it being a linking verb, because linking verbs do not show action. Okay, other than not showing action, they have a special job. Their job is to link, and I also want you to put connect in parentheses, just a synonym, another word that you can use to help you think about this. But their job is to link or connect the subject, okay, the subject, whom or what the sentence is about, all right? It links or connects the subject to a complement in the predicate. Now, we've seen that word, complement, when we first started this chapter, okay? So a linking verb's job is to connect the subject to a complement in the predicate. Remember, we said that a complement is a sentence completer, okay? So it connects to something in the predicate that is very important for the sentence being complete. Okay, let me show you an example real quick. All right, and I'm gonna keep the examples short and simple for our notes. Okay, let's do a sentence about Shelby. Shelby is nice. Okay, so let's look at our parts of speech. Shelby is our subject. Is our verb. We're just going to leave it like that for right now. And let's see, what is nice? Nice is an adjective, right? Well, this is a linking verb since this is what we're learning about. Let's look at our rules. Is is not a word that shows action. And the job of this linking verb is to connect the subject, shall be, to a complement in the predicate. So what does nice do? Well, nice lets us know about shall be, okay? And we said that nice is an adjective. I'm just going to put the abbreviation. Nice is an adjective, which we circle adjectives, so we already have that symbol, okay? It's an adjective, and here's what it's doing. The adjective here describes the subject, okay? All right, so that's one way a linking verb can do things. It can just go back and describe the subject. Nice is an adjective that is describing shall be. Is our linking verb. It is not showing action, okay? So that's one thing a linking verb can do, is make a connection to an adjective or a describing word, okay? I want to jot one more example right here, all right? I'm going to make another short sentence. Mr. T is a teacher, okay? All right, so our subject is Mr. T. Our verb is. Okay, and at the end of the sentence, we have the word teacher. Well, at the end of this sentence, we had an adjective that went back and described the subject. Look at teacher. This time we have a noun, and teacher is telling us more about Mr. Traxler. So this time, instead of having an adjective that connected the subject to something in the predicate, we've got a noun. Okay, well, let's think about how this is going to work. The adjective described the subject. Well, let's look at what the noun is doing here. The noun renames the subject. Okay. It renames the subject, okay? So for this linking verb, it's like I'm saying, Mr. T, teacher, okay? That's the same thing. Mr. T is a teacher. Mr. T equals teacher. It's renaming the subject, okay? So these are the two main things that we're going to see that linking verbs do for us, as they connect something in the subject to a word in the predicate. Now, here's the cool thing about linking verbs. You already know a lot of them. So this is great. Let me tell you how you already know a lot of them. Most, I'm going to use our abbreviation, LV, most linking verbs are state of being verbs. Huh. You know those, right? They are the state of being verbs, okay? So you already know most of them. So here's what we're going to do to be sure that you remember them, and just so that they're somewhere right here real quick and easy for you to have. Remember state of being verbs? We had them in our jingle if you need to go back and look at your jingle. But remember, am is, all right, am is are. Slide over and don't bundle up your words. Was and were. Slide over again. Be, being, and what's left? Been. That's right. Okay. Am is are, was and were, be, being, and been. Most of the time when we see a linking verb, boys and girls, it's going to be one of these words. All right. So these are words that you already know. So that is fantastic. That you already know the most commonly used linking verbs. All right, so we're going to do a little test. We're going to do a little test on some sentences. Okay, so you should have a good bit of space left. So we are going to do some sentences, and we're going to either put a check or an X out here in this part to determine Is it a linking verb or is it a state of being verb? Because, you know, these have been used, we've used these all year as state of being verbs. And they are state of being verbs, but they can kind of change their job. Sometimes they're a state of being verbs, but boys and girls, sometimes these exact same verbs can be linking verbs. So let's look real quick at a couple of sentences and let's try to tell the difference. Is this a linking verb that's going to have the job of connecting something in the subject to something in the predicate? Or is it just a state of being verb like we've been using all year? Okay, so let's do this first one. Let's do Joe was excited. Okay, so Joe is our subject. Was is our verb. Now we're not going to mark it yet because let's see what it is. Okay, so let's think about excited. Excited is a describing word. This is an adjective. Excited is describing Joe. Okay, so it's an adjective for Joe. All right, so that means that this is a linking verb. So we'll put a check. Yes, this is a linking verb. Okay, let's do another short one. Anna. Anna is a singer. Okay, so let's look at this one. All right, Anna is our subject. Is our verb. Okay, so singer. All right, so we have to ask ourselves, is this something that links or connects back to the subject? Anna is a singer. Singer is a noun that's telling me about Anna, just like teacher is a noun that told me about Mr. T. It renames. So singer renames Anna, okay, because Anna is a singer. So yes, this is a linking verb. It follows the rule because singer is a noun and it renames Anna. All right, has a job of renaming Anna. All right, I'm gonna throw one more on here, okay? Last example. Zach is here, okay? All right, so Zach is our subject. Is our verb. So let's think about it. Is here. Here. Here is not an adjective. It is not a noun. Here lets me know where Zach is, okay? So words that let me know where, okay? When, where, to, what extent, how, and how often is a what, boys and girls? Yep, I'm gonna put my check mark because that's an adverb, okay? This is an adverb because it tells, all right, it tells us where Zach is. Okay, since this is not an adjective that describes Zach, since this is not a noun that renames Zach, guess what? This is not a linking verb. This time, the word is being a state of being verb, and it's just helping the sentence be complete, but it's not being a linking verb, okay? So yes, state of being verbs are very often linking verbs, but sometimes, boys and girls, they're still just state of being verbs like we've learned about earlier in the year. So I don't want you to see one of these verbs and think, oh my goodness, I got a linking verb. It's got to pass the test. It's got to link or connect the subject to something that's in the predicate. And it's either going to be an adjective describing the subject, or it's going to be a noun that renames the subject. Okay, so that's an important test that you need to do to find out, is it a linking verb or is it a state of being verb? Okay, So I know that's been a lot of information, all right, but I need you to hang with me. And here's what I need you to know. These notes that we're doing, like this is our lesson today. You're not going to have anything to do in the book, all right, but you know, in language, something that's an issue on a regular basis is there's always those rule breakers. There's always the things that in our textbook, we've got that sly little fox that's telling us that we need to look closely at things. Okay, do you guys remember that? And there are some things that we need to look at closely and be careful of. All right, because most linking verbs are state of being verbs, but guess what? We've got this little set of words that are called, see, they just can't even make up their mind what they want to be. They are the sometimes linking verbs. Because sometimes they're linking, but sometimes they're action. All right, and guess what we have to do? We have to look closely and we have to be detectives and we have to pay attention to the sentence and what the sentence is saying to help us understand, okay, is this verb being a linking verb or is this verb being an action verb in this sentence? So big time, guess what we have to do? We have to be careful with these words right here, these sometimes linking verbs. Okay, so we're going to make a list. We're going to look at what they are. Now, here's something that's really neat, okay? All of our notes over here that we've already taken, all right? We taken these notes, we covered page 278 in your book, okay? So the notes, and go back and, you know, read this on your own, all right? But this is what we took over here. All right, now here's what's neat about these sometimes linking verbs, okay? I don't know if you've peeked at page 279, but these are not things for you to do. These are things that are helping you understand how the sometimes linking verbs work, okay? This helps you know how they work. Now, if you notice, we have an example, and then we have sentences 1 through 10, all right? So when I write these in your notes, the way I write them, I'm going to put where you can find the example on page 279. As a matter of fact, let's do this right here. Let's write page 279 right here, because that's the page that you can go to in your textbook. Okay, now our first sometimes linking verb is the word taste. Okay, and we see an example of that actually in the example on page 279. Okay, let's peek at that up here in the example. Okay, all right. The lemon tastes tart. Okay, lemon is the subject, tastes is the verb, and tart, okay, I like the example, the description here. The lemon does not do anything, okay? It is being linked with an adjective in the predicate. There's no action here. The lemon, tart is an adjective that describes the lemon. So right here, tastes is a linking verb. But then in the second sentence, I tasted the tart lemon. We completely change what's going on with the word taste. Okay, here's what I want you to notice. It has an S here, it has a D here. That's fine. This still comes from the word taste. Okay, but this time I did something. I performed an action. I tasted the tart lemon. Okay, I tasted what? I tasted lemon. This is a direct object. This time there's some action, okay? So we really have to pay attention with these sometimes linking verbs, okay? So when I put taste comes from the example, that means if you want to see how taste can sometimes be a linking verb. If you look at the example, it's showing you LV. If you use it like this, it's a linking verb. AV means, it's an action verb right there. Okay. Then we have the word feel. Okay. Well, if I look at number 1 on this page, I see how feel can work both ways. So let's look at number 1. Okay. Your head feels warm. Okay. Head is your subject. Warm is an adjective describing your head. That makes feel a linking verb. But here, the baby feels her soft blanket. Okay. The subject, the baby, is doing something. There is an action that is performed. So feels here is an action verb. Okay. So linking verb and action verb. All right, the next one we have is the word smell. And that is example 2 on this page. For smell, we'll get the next couple of sentences. Okay, the air smells fresh. Okay, air is our subject. Fresh is an adjective that is describing the air. That makes, there's no action happening. The air is not doing anything. We now have an adjective that's just describing the air. So linking verb. But here, I smell the fragrant roses. I'm doing something. There's an action. So that makes it an action verb. All right. The next one is sound. All right. And that's number 3. All right. Look at 3. That noise sounds strange. Okay, can a noise do something? Can a noise perform an action? No, it cannot. Strange is an adjective that is describing the noise. So here, sounds is a linking verb, but look right underneath it. The cook sounded the dinner bell. The cook is the subject, sounded the dinner bell. Okay, he clanged on it and he made it have a sound. There was an action going on there. So sounded here is an action verb. Now notice it comes from the noun of sound, sounds, sounded. Okay, that's okay. That's perfectly fine. Okay, so sound is another one. Okay, all right, so I'm not going to go through every one of those with you. Okay, you can find examples of how look can be used either way with number 4. You can find examples of how the word appear can be used either way in number 5. Okay, I'm going to start another column. Okay, become can be used both ways. You'll see examples for that in number 6. All right, number 7, you can see how the word seem can be used as a linking verb or an action verb. Number 8 is for the word grew. Number 9 is remain. And number 10 is the word stay. Okay, now these are words that you just have to be careful. Okay, so what we're being careful of here is we have this question: action or linking verb. Okay, all right, when we have this group of words, we have to decide, is it an action or is it a linking verb? So how do I know? Well, you know, we have 2 questions that can help us figure out real quick, is it action or is it linking? Okay, first question. All right, we've got to always pay attention to the subject. So the first thing you ask yourself, is the subject doing something? Okay. If it is, then guess what? That's an action verb. Okay. And if you have an action verb, that's when you know you might be able to look for direct objects or indirect objects. Okay. Only if it's an action verb. All right. So, is the subject doing something can help you decide. The next question you can ask yourself is, okay, once you find the subject, is the subject being described? Okay. Notice it's really important for both of these that you need to be aware of what your subject is, because you're having to ask yourself if the subject is doing something or if the subject is being described. If the subject is being described or renamed, okay, like we talked about in our examples, then you know that you have a linking verb. Okay. All right. So, but here is what I want to make a smile come to your face when you think about. Okay. I want it to make you smile to know that most linking verbs come from the state of being verbs, or the state of being list, because if it's being a linking verb, it's not a state of being verb. Okay. So most of them, I'm glad that these were on a page where they could be side by side. Most of them come from this list, and you guys know this list: am, is, are, was, and were, be, being, and been. Okay, so you do have to be aware of these, and if you're uncertain, then there are questions that you can ask yourself to help you decide if it's an action verb or a linking verb. Okay, but remember, linking verbs are going to link or connect the subject to a complement in the predicate. It's going to, if it is a linking verb, it is going to either describe the subject or it's going to rename the subject. Okay, there's always going to be a connection back to the subject each time. Okay, so here's what I want you to do. We did not go over all of these sentences. Okay, I want you to take time to go to this page and look at these sentences and pay attention to how the same verb got used, but according to what's going on in the sentence, sometimes it's a linking verb, but sometimes it's an action verb. So it's important to ask yourself if the subject is doing something or if the subject is being described. Okay, so I know that this was lots of information today, but this is our whole entire language lesson today. Okay, it's just taking these notes and talking about these things. So, so linking verbs is what we're talking about. This is a lot of notes. Yay, pat yourself on the back for a busy video. Okay, anything that you need to still get in your notes, anything you have a question about, let me know. Okay, tomorrow's assignment is going to have you do some practice with these. All right, so lots of information, let it soak in your brain. After a while, you might want to come back and look at it again. Okay, remember, the most of the things that we need to know about are taken care of over here. All right, these sometimes linking verbs are just the things we need to be careful for. We don't see these quite as often. Most of the time it's going to come from over here. But we do need to be aware to properly use our language that the Lord has blessed us with as a way to communicate. We need to understand all of the rules, even these that try to trick us up sometimes. Okay? All right. Let me know if you have questions, and we will be practicing with linking verbs.